Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. And today we are going to talk about 7 principles to get your ex back. And I'm reviewing an article from Corey Wayne's website, understandingrelationships.com. I think it's a really good article he did back in 2014. It's already 3 years ago. But this kind of material is timeless, really. And he did a video and he did an article on it. And I'll be reading the article from his website directly and then giving you some of my take on it. But I think this particular article works really well if you were the one that got dumped and you want your ex back. So let's get into it. In the beginning, his preface says how to properly apply the 7 most important principles of how to get an ex back if you got dumped unexpectedly and want to stay together, or if you dumped them but now want them back. So these are 2 particular cases, right? So as I always talk about in writing your story, what happened if you apply to one of these things. Not everyone applies to getting dumped unexpectedly or you dump them. Sometimes there's an ultimatum. Sometimes you caught them cheating and you just left. So it doesn't always apply. So in this particular case, these 7 principles to get your ex back are for those reasons. Okay? So let's go into number 1. If you were the one who got dumped, if you were the one that got dumped, and be honest with yourself. Sometimes I've been through it too when I was younger in a couple relationships, and I kind of made it out to my friend. Oh, we kind of agreed, to break up. I got dumped. I've been dumped before, and you don't like to admit it. And that's why you do need to write out your story, right? That's why you do need to write out your story of what happened in your relationship. And if you want me to take a look at it, visit writemac.com. So let's get back to it. If you were the one that got dumped, you must communicate that you do not accept being friend zoned or no longer being together, but instead want to continue seeing them. If they are unwilling to continue seeing you or give you another chance, you tell them to get in touch with you if they ever change their mind. So you're not an asshole. You don't say fuck you, because we're talking about a particular case where they maybe didn't do anything wrong, and you're leaving the door open for them to come back, but you're not waiting at the door, if that makes sense to you. And it's really important. You tell them, get in touch with me, because you don't want to be friends. Do not fucking agree to be friends if you don't want to be friends. That's being weak and needy, and you're really benefiting her because she's just has you on the sidelines for as long as she wants, and she doesn't feel bad anymore too. And that's a pity game. And pity, I've always mentioned this, you don't want to be on the side of pity. You must let them go forever and never contact them again for any reason. This is a lot harder than it sounds. I talk about this in other videos, but it is a key to moving on, right? You must never, under any circumstances, agree to being friends only. It's romance or you're simply not interested. Again, this is tough because you think, okay, well, we need to be friends and we'll kind of work our way in. And the problem with that is if you were together for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, 7 years, whatever it is, it's really hard to go back to just being friends and erase the fact that she's maybe checking her phone or talking to one of her friends online, and you're wondering like, who's that? Who's that? Where before when you were together, you knew that was your girlfriend. You knew you were together. You knew that was your wife. So you didn't have those insecurities. So going into a friendship, it's just going to fuck you up even worse if that's what you don't want. And if you are willing to be friends, you still should be taking some time to be away from each other for a little while to let the smoke clear. All right, number 2, walk and never look back. Now, this is really difficult. This goes hand in hand with no contact, really. This is the strongest negotiating position in any professional or personal human interaction. Corey Wayne talks about this a lot, and I agree 100%. It's a simple way to look at negotiations. And in a relationship, you're constantly in negotiations. So the strongest negotiating position is to walk away when someone doesn't come to your terms. And if they don't accept your terms, you're done. You're out of there. Once you have stated what you want, but they are unwilling to give it to you, you tell them to contact you if they ever change their mind, but you are not interested in anything platonic. and to please not contact you unless they are interested in something romantic ever again. I don't know if you need to use the word romantic. To me, that's a little old-fashioned. But yeah, if they're not interested in hooking up again, if they're not interested in being your girlfriend again, or, seeing each other on a higher level than friends, walking and never looking back means that you will never contact them again for any reason. And he accentuates this point in the video. And I think it's really good because I know I've done no contact before being out of a relationship, and the birthday comes up or something comes up and you just want to be cool and kind of like, I'll just send a birthday message, see how they're doing. And if it's been like 4 or 5 years or 6 years and your feelings are over that person, you generally just want to reach out as a friend or just someone like, yeah, we had a good time together. Hope you have a good birthday. And your intention is like that. I think it's okay. But if your intention is to get them back, then don't send them a happy birthday, because if they don't reply or they're real casual in coming back to you, it's going to hurt your feelings, and you might reply in a needy way and just make your chances even worse. So think about your intention when you send that birthday wish. No birthday messages, holiday message, death of the family members. As far as you are concerned, you will never speak to them again as long as you live. If you ever have children with this person, if you have children with this person, make your arrangements ahead of time. Well, I mean, if you really want to be incognito, I guess, or not talking, you can always just text message people. I have a friend that when he broke up with his ex, they just texted each other or sent each other emails, and that was a way. I mean, it's not really good for the kids, but if you're trying to keep the no contact thing strong, absolutely. You can make arrangements without seeing each other. Absolutely. It's possible. So there's absolutely no reason for them to contact you. Again, this is only if you want them back, right? This is if you want them back. This is kind of the game to play. But when I'm saying it's a game, it's also like you're all in. This is what he's getting at. You walk away. You are never looking back. You are all in. You put all your chips on the table on this one. And he said, look, I either want it all, I want you back as my girlfriend, I want you back as my wife, or I don't want nothing at all. I feel like I'm capable of being a good boyfriend again, and don't contact me as a friend. You're all fucking in. That's the key part. If you, there must be space, distance, and time between you in order for your ex or someone you turned off to rethink and regret pushing you out of their life. Okay. Realize this, you did turn them off in some way if they dumped you. There's something that happened, or they met someone new, and it's not going to change by 5 days of no contact, or maybe 3 weeks or 1 month of no contact. It can, but it usually doesn't. It usually doesn't. And the longer you were together, the longer you had problems, it's going to take some time for them to rethink and revisit why they were in love with you. It must be their idea to reach out to you first. Once they realize they are never going to hear from you again. So your negotiation has worked. Same at a car dealership when you're negotiating a car and you walk away. A lot of times you gotta go, wait. And he might come down a little bit more, but you're like, no, that's my price, 20 grand flat. And I want the rims, and I want the stereo, and I want this. And then you walk away again, and then you walk away again. And you either get what you really wanted or you give in. And in this case, you do not want to give in and be a friend or appear weak, right? You do not. And a lot of times it's like, oh, well, I mean, it's not weak so much because you've been watching some of these movies that Hollywood makes. And Corey Wayne talks about this a lot too. I mean, it's Hollywood. It's not real. It's not real. You don't have to be an asshole, but you do need to move on. And you need to show that you're capable of being an independent person that takes care of yourself and can handle this. Number 3, when they contact you again, if an ex or someone you were dating got turned off by your behavior contacts you through text messages, email, Facebook Messenger, or phone calls, then you must assume they want to see you. And this should be your first response. Okay? He puts in parentheses, right? They're liking your Facebook post or commenting on your social media post does not count as them contacting you. What he means by this, they're not contacting you directly. They're playing a little game with you. They must contact and message you directly, engage you in a conversation. Hey, how have you been? I haven't seen you for a while. That would be direct conversation. Commenting on your post like, oh, that place looks cool with another group of people isn't really direct. Liking your post on Facebook isn't really direct. It could just be a little, oh, I just want to be nice, or they just like the picture. Okay, so do not consider that, oh, I saw you like my post on Facebook. Do not contact them afterward. That's needy behavior. It's not attractive. Do not engage in any BS conversation or nonsensical chit chat. Be direct, decisive, and go for what you want by saying this. Come back to this. So when you get contacted, have it in your head like, I got to be direct. Be direct. Be direct at this point. Be direct. I'm not trying to play a game. She contacted me. What is it I want? I want to hang out with her. I want to hook up. I want to rejuvenate what we had. And that's what I want. So be direct. Now, that doesn't mean you're saying, like, let's get it on. Come meet me in my bedroom. No. But as you can see with the rest of the article, we'll get into it. So his quote is, hey, it's great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. When are you free to get together? Yeah, that's simple enough, right? Or you could say, like, it's been a while. I really, really missed you. I really missed you. I'm so happy you called me. I'm so happy you called me. I've been waiting for this call for the last 3 months. And if you didn't call me, I was going to call you, actually. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay? Let's get back to it. Hey, it's great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. That's it. Direct, to the point. And she's thinking like, okay, she doesn't have to think like you're all over her. You're just interested in hanging out and seeing what happens. And your intention is to hook up, but if it doesn't happen, you're cool as a cucumber, right? Invite them to bring a bottle of wine, coffee, or tea. When he says coffee or tea, that's kind of strange to me, but yeah, it could be. Whatever you drink to your place for dinner together. Make a definite date, hang out, have fun, and hook up like I talk about in my book. So he talks about this ad nauseum a lot of times. Hang out, hook up. Hang out, have fun, hook up. Keep it simple. You can get no credit for your past history together or any relationship. This is very important. Your past relationship's done, and whatever happened in between. So if you broke up over her cheating, you cannot bring that up in any case because you want her back and you're accepting what happened in the past. If in the last 3 months she's been seeing someone else, you do not want to ask questions about that other relationship. If it gets brought up, oh, I've been seeing Ron from, down the street. He's such a cool guy. You don't want to talk about that. That's a red flag where you're not going to ask any questions or prolong that conversation. You need to change that conversation into something else that you have common ground on, okay? Do not talk about getting back together, being exclusive, or locking them down to a commitment. No, no, no. Don't do that. You're just hanging out, seeing what happens. If it doesn't work out, you're fine either way, right? You're fine either way. It must be their idea to become exclusive again. They need to bring it up to you, and then it's your choice. You simply need to focus on creating a fun-filled romantic opportunity for sex to happen again, a date. Number 4, when they won't come to your place for a date, if they have contacted you again and you try to make a date at your place but they won't accept, or they counter by trying to get you to pick them up or meet them out somewhere, you must give them this response. It's been a long week and I'm just in the mood to hang at my place. If you don't want to come over and make dinner together, then give me a call in 2 or 3 weeks and maybe I will be up for something more formal then. Yeah, that's a clean comeback. I mean, you could change that up if you like and do something else. You don't have to say 2 or 3 weeks away. That seems like a long time. But you also don't want to say, like, what he's getting at is you want to lead the conversation. You want to come back to, you know what, I want you to come back to I want you to come back to my place. That's where I want things to end together, intimately. And I think if we meet outside, that's what you're thinking in your head. So you got to bring it back. You don't necessarily have to make dinner together. It could be watching a movie. And do not make a date with her friends and your friends involved if you're trying to get back together. Don't do that either. You need to zero in on your time together, eye to eye, nose to nose, lips to lips, possibly. They'll either agree to dinner or they won't. And you'll be okay with it either way. Right? Or at least you'll show that, I hope. If they won't agree to dinner, then say this: I've got to run, but get in touch with me if you change your mind. And then walk and never look back. Yeah, just, again, if they don't agree with you, you don't have to be a dick. You don't have to be an asshole. I can't believe you're doing this to me. I can't believe you don't want to come to my house. Why not? Why? Don't do that. I've got to run. I got a buddy I'm meeting at the gym. We're supposed to play some basketball, and maybe we can get in touch later on this week. Hope to chat with you soon. You could even leave it on that note, right? That's it. And nowadays, in 2017, this was made in 2014, I think most of the population is dealing in text. If you're dealing in text, it's the same thing. Be short. Don't keep going back and forth. Keep going back and forth. You want to leave the last text where you're ending the conversation. You're in control and you got shit to do if she's not interested in coming over and hanging out and having fun. Number 5, when they won't make a date, since you are always going to wait to hear from them first, and on two consecutive different times when they have reached out to you first, you try to set a date, but they won't. Then you must stop asking. Right? You got to let it go, because now you're becoming annoying and needy. Corey Wayne doesn't use this word quite as much, but if you've read the book Models before, which I always recommend if you're in this space, the guy comes back to that again and again. It's basically, neediness is the biggest turnoff for women that there could be. And you got to ask your question, does that sound needy? And if it does, you got to rewind it a little bit. Never ask them out again unless they bring it up first. From that point forward, if they continue to reach out to you, you're not going to bring up getting together. If they have contacted you by text, email, Facebook Messenger, or chat services, you will keep your message responses to 2 to 3 max. If they contact you by phone and you're having a phone conversation, FaceTime conversation, or Skype video or audio, you will keep the conversation to 2 or 3 minutes max. That's actually a nice rule going in. If you tell yourself, all right, I'm going to keep this really short, but say like 2 or 3 minutes. You don't need to time yourself, but you're like, all right, it's come up to 2 or 3 minutes. I'm going to cut this off right now. And what it does, and he talks about this a lot, it keeps her guessing about your feelings, and it keeps you in control of the conversation and not baited on every word she throws at you. This is a very important. When they've contacted you via digital messaging or voice or video means, you will always give them the response when you end the conversation. Hey, it was great hearing from you, but I've got to run. Keep in touch. You don't always have to say it exactly that way, but yeah, if you want to, yeah, nice talking to you. Let's keep in touch. Talk to you soon. Right? That's it. You don't have to be cute about it. You don't have to bring up some little pet name you used to call each other. But if you did, like you used to call her honey or hun or something like that, and you say, let's keep in touch, hon, you might want to just throw that in. You might want to throw that in. He might not agree with that, but I think that's fine. From that point forward, they will either bring up getting together first, and then you can try to set a date, or they will stop contacting you for good. And this is polarizing, meaning like you're going to find out. You're not going to be sitting on the edge of your bed like, oh, what's going to happen? Oh, I hope she calls me. You're going to know like she's not interested or she is interested. Let them contact you exclusively. When someone is unwilling to see you, go on dates with you, or give you a chance to start to rekindle your romance, and they have pushed you away, you must always let them contact you 100% of the time from that point forward. Okay. This is different from what I teach in my book and how a man should properly start off a courtship. So this only applies when you got dumped or blown off and did not agree to it. So this is a specific situation that you got dumped. So when they do reach out, you make a definite date, and then you get off the phone, be direct, decisive, and get right to the point. No idle chit-chat or unnecessary bullshit conversation. And we're all guilty of that. Like, like, how was your day at work? Oh, yeah. Oh, Rhonda. Oh, Rhonda's doing okay. Oh, yeah. And then the girl starts talking about, or the woman starts talking about, her problems and problems at work. That's not what you want to get into. You don't want to get into all that stuff. That's friend stuff. If you dump them, the only time you're going to contact an ex when you are trying to get them back is if you dump them but regret that decision and want to rekindle things. You will only contact them one time when you are trying to get them back. This is very important. So you don't want to keep calling them. That's needy behavior. I hope you guys are taking that in right now. That needy, right? And some of you might, maybe at the end of the time when you got dumped, the woman might have said, "You're just so needy right now." You will contact them once, apologize for being a jackass, tell them you'd like to see them again, and make a definite date. So you're ending it on a good note. Look, I was out of line. I shouldn't have gave you that ultimatum. Or actually, you're right. I shouldn't be checking your phone. Whatever it was. In this case, usually you did something wrong and you agree you did something wrong. If you didn't do anything wrong, don't fucking do this, because that's weak and needy behavior. And you're going back on your word. If you did something that you absolutely feel was wrong and deserves an apology, then apologize and lay it all on the table. And when you're done apologizing, say, hey, get back to me when you have time or you're interested. In this situation, it's okay to go pick them up or meet them for dinner if they won't come to your place. This is because you pushed them away. Therefore, if you try to make a date when you contact them, but they are unwilling to tell them that you'd love to see them again and have another chance, then tell them to contact you if they ever change their mind. If they reach out after that, try to make a definite date. But after you've contacted them once, they were unwilling to make a date, then you must walk and never look back. If they contact you and you make a date and you hang out, have fun, hook up, and things go well, then you can treat this situation like a normal courtship by contacting them once per week to set a date. But once they feel safe and comfortable to start contacting you after your last date, then you shouldn't have to contact them anymore. Then you simply back off, wait to hear from them. And when you do make that next date, under this circumstance only, when you did the dumping, it's okay to contact them once per week if they've agreed to go out on a date with you the first time you contacted them after dumping them, just like I discussed in my book. So he's talking about his book here. And as you can see, what he does really well is, like, it's a different situation if you dumped them and you were in the wrong and you felt it's a totally different situation, different tactics involved. But in that situation, you also, if you're not getting a good response or you're not getting positive feedback, then you're done. You're moving on. You're a strong person. You don't need to wait around. You're able to get other options in your life, and that's what he's saying, and that's an attractive trait. And the only way someone really knows if they want you back is they have to miss you a little bit first. They have to feel like that person's gone, right? And that's the simple part of it. But the hard part is walking away, right? And not being like, oh, you know what, friends might work. Oh, and I'll tell you what, movies, some of your buddies, your mom, maybe your sister, if you get advice from another colleague at work, they might give you counter advice to this. But I ask you this, look at their personal situations. Have they gotten an ex back, right? I remember I was talking to a buddy of mine, and he he dumped his girlfriend for cheating on him in college, right? And he said they were in love and they'd been together 2 or 3 years, I think. Really close couple, he said. And he's like, I caught her cheating, and she admitted to it, broke up with her, I was done. So in this particular case, he didn't want her back right away, right? But he walked away and didn't look back. And he said, you'd see her around, university, you see her around town, this particular university had a small town. And he's like, I went to the gym, I just filled up my time. I was seeing other women. And he goes, within 2 months, she came to my door begging for me to be back. And that's what he did. He walked away, and he fucking put up his boundary to the point where he was like, look, that's unacceptable behavior if we're going to be together. Now, they didn't last. There's another part of the story later on, where he ended up cheating 2 years later. But that's not my point. He walked away and he didn't negotiate like, oh, maybe just this one time she cheated on me. No, he said, fuck that. I'm strong. I'm brave. I'm a handsome motherfucker. I'm going to get through this. And he did it, and it worked. And so when I was going through a breakup, he was like, yeah, unfortunately, it wasn't that easy for me at the time. I had to go through a lot more shit and whatnot. And in my case, I never got that girl back. But you know what? I did move on, right? And I did use the never talk again thing, and it works. It absolutely works. It works for even if you don't get the ex back. That's what I want to clarify right here, because everyone's looking for the guarantee, the certainty. This is a good plan that he puts together. These are good concepts, and they can work. There's no guarantee, but they will if you follow them. The great thing about this, the genius in this, the fucking genius in this, is that if you walk away and don't look back, over time with that attitude, if you melt that attitude into you and you got a little strut to you, it's also going to get you on the other side of that hill where if she's not ever coming back, she met someone else, she's not interested, she's over you, well then you're getting over her at the same time. So it works both ways. All right? So if you want to send me your story, visit writemac.com, that's WRITEMAC.com, and send me your story about your breakup. And even if it was 2 months ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, and you're still having trouble with it, write the story out, send it in to me. You could do that for free if you like, or I do 1 hour paid coaching sessions if you want to talk about it a little bit further. And if you're wondering if this is the first time you see me in a video, how I handle clients, then check out some of the stories people send me and how I deal with them. And then maybe we can work together. Take it easy.